Tonight, we'll begin our midterm scorecard edition of the show as we count down to May 29, keeping tabs on activities of government, ministries and agencies in the past 2 years. From today, for 1 hour, we'll go beyond the headlines to grade Nigeria's most critical institutions. We're holding 3 key players to account on this show, and we'll be probing how Nigeria, for instance, is rapidly increasing its federal allocations and how it's been shared among states. I'll be speaking with the Federal Commissioner, Revenue, Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, Ekene Enefe. We'll also talk to Nigeria's sole accident investigator across all transport modes. Did you know, for instance, that between October last year and January this year, 300 people have died from fuel tank explosions? And we've had more than 160 incidents in 19 years. Captain Alex Bade Jr. is Director General, Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. He joins me to discuss the worrisome development. And then I'll be sitting with Chairman, CEO, Nigerians and Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, to examine how the agency has fared in 2 years of Tinubu presidency. Her agency just received some trafficked victims from Ghana and Mali. Fasten your seatbelt, everyone, as we go beyond the headlines. Thanks for joining us. Now, over 1,000 petitions resolved in 5 years, 244 trafficked Nigerians rescued in weeks, and diaspora remittances hitting 90 billion naira, yet no diaspora voting. Tonight, we hold the midterm scorecard of Nigeria's diaspora affairs under one of the most visible public servants in this administration. NIDCOM just recently facilitated the return of Adiola, daughter of actress Jumoke George, from Mali. Chairman, CEO, Nigerians and Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, is my first guest tonight. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Nifemi. Nice to be here and nice to be in your new location.
Absolutely. It's been a while. Interestingly, the last time we spoke was on May 29 in 2023, and it's almost 2 years now. I wondered, are you bothered about being called chairman?
No.
You don't mind?
No.
You are not one of those who will say, call me chairwoman?
No, because that's the title, chairman.
That's the title.
It has nothing to do with the gender.
Absolutely. So let's begin with what we've seen in recent weeks. You have just received 13 trafficked Nigerians from Ghana and Mali. I think 231, yeah.
In fact, today, let's even talk about today. There's been a trending story about a Nigerian actress, Jumoke George, who came on the Talk with Bola program, and she was in distress, and she said she hadn't spoken to her daughter for 4 years. Wow. This was just last week, and we're glad that today we received the daughter in our office along with Bola, D. Johnson, and it was a very emotional moment. So by now she'll be reunited with her mother, who hasn't spoken to her for 4 years. She was trafficked to Mali, and her story was very touching. A relative, somebody close to her, said, you know what, you go work in a pharmacy in Mali. You get there and they tell you, oh, you've been sold to a madam. And she resisted, had to go to a village, was surviving in the last 4 years, and she said, out of shame, she could not call her mother. But we thank God we brought her back, and I want to thank the acting Nigerian High Commissioner in Mali, Ambassador Ugochime. We worked together on this, and within 3 days, we got her back. We
followed these stories very closely, you getting the girls back. But what does it really say about the state of Nigeria's trafficking crisis? Well,
you see, like I keep saying, NAPTIP, we were together with the NAPTIP DJ a few days ago. It's really, NAPTIP is set up for trafficking. But being in the diaspora, like when they call us for help, we have to intervene. So how to deal with trafficking is NAPTIP that will talk about that. But the key thing is, like this girl said, it's all a lie. And there's always a relative. It's all a lie. Oh, then they paint rosy pictures. It's all a lie. Nigeria you're running away from is better than where you're running to. So really, more massive awareness.
But you're in government and you speak closely with NAPTIP. Are you worried about this development?
Oh yes, but there should be.
Should it be priority for the Tinubu administration?
Yes, declare a war against human trafficking. But we need a whole of governance and whole of society approach to the issue of trafficking. It's not something that one agency or just a few can do. Whole of governance, whole of society. This girl now should go out there and tell the world that this is my experience. So more massive awareness, but really it's a very dangerous trend. And it's worse on the West African continent because of the free movement of persons. So ECOWAS really has to take it very, very seriously.
You've heard people say that the country is hard, that's why they have to leave.
Yeah, but if this girl knew what she was going to, look, if, with 100,000 naira, if she has a small shop, she's selling something, she'll be fine. So it's the promise of hope with hopelessness. It's about traffickers who are walking about freely and are making money. When she got there, the madam said, "You've been sold to me. You have to pay me 1.5 million naira." You will hear her story. Her videos will come up. I said, "Look at me. I'll pay you this mosquito 1.5 million naira." You know, so thank God she's back. There are many more like that. So it's more about just falling to fake. It's fraud. It's just being a victim of fraud.
I understand the role of the society, but there are some who have also said that perhaps what we've seen with the inflation in the past 2 years may have caused some major economic troubles for people and may have contributed significantly to why the numbers
like
in that
I
regard
said,
spike.
More awareness needs to, because it is a lie. They're lying to you. What's the point? Okay, these trips cost money. Why would you pay 2 million, 3 million, 4 million to go to this place? They pay for them. That's why the woman said, "You've been sold to me." You pay for it. So why pay for it? So if we work together and let them know that, you know, like this girl now, you see her, I'm sure she'll be fine. She just wants to have a freezer, sell drinks and all that. So it's more of deception, fraud.
You celebrated resolving 1,000+ diaspora petitions in 5 years. How many are still pending?
No, well, we resolve all. We attend to all. Some we can resolve, some we can't. But we also work with other ministries. For instance, if you say you were defrauded, we have a desk at EFCC. So we have desk at the Ministry of Health, and we're supposed to have in every MDA. We have in the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. So basically, all are attended to. Some can be resolved, some cannot be resolved. But the key thing is you have someone to talk to. You have a place to go to. You have somewhere to complain to. So our legal department is actually very, very busy.
Detained Nigerians in UAE, deaths in Saudi Arabia. What do you consider the most frustrating NIDCOM case, I mean, that you couldn't resolve?
Many. We still have Nigerians on death row in Saudi. But you see, the thing is, once they tell you it's their law, take Indonesia, for instance. There were 24 Nigerians on death row. We went there to plead for them, but they said it's our law. 4 have been executed. I don't know whether the rest have been, but there was a change in government, so they're stopping that. So the fact that we feel sorry for these people, but you also wonder why you'll see a sign that says penalty is death, but you still carry the drugs anyway. And the fact that we are not adequately funded is very frustrating. Like this girl now, one had to use personal resources to ensure that you just got it done. If you're waiting, you're applying, you won't get anything done. So funding is an issue. Funding is always an issue. So we have to think outside the box and just see what can be done. You're dealing a lot of times with, let me just say, philanthropic activities. And again, we're calling on Nigerians in the diaspora, you know, to pull resources together. And we want to have the Diaspora Investment Fund working with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. So now we have been able to stabilize. Nobody can tell me, oh, the diaspora is not significant. They are, like you said, they're $90 billion in 5 years. And now the CBN just came up with the new, the non-resident BVN. So in the comfort of your home, you can open your account. So under the Tinubu administration, major developments, in the comfort of your home, you can open an account. So more of them will be investing in the country, will be sending money home, and will be easier for them too. Under the Tinubu administration, in the comfort of your home, you can apply for your passport. And those two are very significant.
Did I hear you just say NIDCOM is not well funded?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm sure we're
Is that a Tinubu issue?
No, it's a budgetary issue. In fact, it's only this year, under the Tinubu administration, that we got a budget of 4 billion. In 2023, we had 47 million naira capital. So under the Tinubu administration, we got the best budget ever in 5 years, which is 4 billion everything budget. So that's the best we had. We're grateful for that, but we want more.
Now, perhaps you should leverage your relationship at the National Assembly. You were once there.
Yeah, but you know, when you start afresh, it's not easy. There's a lot of running around to do. You want your office, but I'm glad that despite the challenges, the most important thing is that initially it was like, oh, is the commission necessary? Oh, is it not necessary? But you can't. That is not a debate anymore. The fact that you've put diaspora issues on the front burner, all over the world actually, about 7 countries have come to understudy us at NIDCOM. Well, how are you engaging your diaspora? And they want to do the same thing. So there's so much more to be done, but at least we laid a solid foundation.
Despite the 90 billion naira remittances in 5 years, the National Assembly I beg your pardon, rejected diaspora voting again. Do you consider this a betrayal?
Well, I would have wished that it happens because the National Assembly will not amend the Constitution every year. And what I thought the National Assembly should do is amend in such a way that it doesn't have to happen in 2027. It is when INEC has the infrastructure. But they have their own concerns and all that. But it's not pleasant news. And we hope that we continue to engage with the National Assembly because they deserve to vote. Even Togo voted. But we'll hear their reasons and why they think they can't do it. But it doesn't have to happen in 2 years' time. But you can amend in such a way that when INEC is ready with the infrastructure, Mr. President supports diaspora voting. INEC supports diaspora voting. But if the National Assembly does not amend the laws, there's nothing anybody can do.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen with this 10th Assembly. How long do you think they have to wait?
If it doesn't happen now, when will you be amending the Constitution again?
No, I'm saying that you as an insider, you understand the dynamics and the politics of things. How long more do you think it would take Nigeria to consider this priority
Honestly,
at the National Assembly?
I can't answer the question. I would have thought this Assembly would, but they are not likely to.
Does it speak to...
Because it's not actually on the list of what is being considered now.
Does it speak to our infrastructure of voting? You know, perhaps they are thinking, maybe we haven't even gotten it right back at home instead of extended.
That is the major argument. That, is it time? We haven't gotten it right. Do we now add this to the problems that we haven't really solved? So there are arguments for and against. So that's why I'm saying that in the wisdom of the National Assembly, they will take the right decisions on diaspora voting.
Let's talk about 2027, because we saw how very active you were in 2023 campaigning for this administration across the country. Looking back, it's going to be 2 years in a few days. Are you proud of the Tinubu administration?
Yes.
No, I want you to think about it very well.
I'll answer yes. You know, the Tinubu administration, I mean, you can see what is happening now. It's been 2 years of, you know, trying to, how do I describe it now? 2 years of trying to get things right. Look, removing the subsidy was tough, but it had to be done. It had to be done. But now you're saying that, you know, things will eventually stabilize. It's going to be rough and tough, but we're going to get there. So you can see that, you know, moving on, that those reforms will be tough, but they had to happen. They had to happen. So as we mark 2 years of this administration, you're going to see things being rolled out. But like people will say, oh, the masses have to feel it. It has to be felt, the welfare of the people. But the welfare of the people is priority for President Tinubu, and that's why he even had to remove the subsidy. So it's rough and tough, but I think the administration is on the right.
But I think it's also important that we bridge the gap between government and the people. I spoke with the Nasarawa State Governor the other day, who mentioned that he's now confident that his state can fund state police, thanks to how much it now gets from federal allocation. And according to him, an improvement in internally generated revenue. By removing subsidy, it meant more money for government. But it doesn't look like it's trickling down enough for people to feel it.
I think the governors need to answer more questions. But do you also know that prior to President Tinubu's 2 years, some governors were borrowing to pay salaries? That's how bad it was. So I think the governors need to answer more questions, because there's no debate that more money is going to go to states. And then two, we keep saying restructuring, but it's beginning to happen. Look at local governments. The idea of direct allocation to local governments is beginning to happen. Local governments need to be strengthened, is beginning to happen. State police is looking at it's going to happen. So that is, in effect, not shouting restructuring, but changing the way we govern. And then, you know, I think personally that this system of democracy is not the best for us. So no matter how good you are, it's a system that is not meant for us, period. But what can we do about it? We have to do what President Bola Tinubu is doing, take the bold steps that will eventually show that these reforms are worth it on the long run. It's tough. I know what I go through every day. I'm sure you know what you go through every day, you know, having to help people, having to support people. But I believe that because the president knows exactly what he wants to do, and as a man of success in everything he does, he's going to succeed.
What do you think will be his campaign strategy in 2027, especially when these issues come up, when people start talking about how much they paid for petrol before he became president, how much they pay for transportation, how much they pay for their groceries and things like that? What do you think is going to be that special thing? Because prior to 2023, I know the conversation was about, you know what, this guy is a mastermind. He did it in Lagos, he can do it in Nigeria. What's going to be the narrative this time?
Well, I can't be specific. Let's leave that to the strategists.
You have started already, anyways. I thought you were one of them.
Well, I'm not supposed to be the one to reveal it. But you're going to see a lot, even in the 2 years of the Tinubu administration. But the most important thing is that he's taking bold decisions that should have been taken many, many years ago. It takes a leader with courage. It takes a leader with conviction to take the bold decisions that Asiwaju has taken. Yes, there will be a bit of, criticisms for that, but you have to take those bold decisions. So that he could take those bold decisions is a mark of courage, leadership, and maximum respect.
You see what's happening with your colleagues in the PDP moving in droves to the APC. And the conversation is rife as to, there's no difference between both of you guys. APC came in knocking hard on PDP. In fact, till today, your government still talks about the rot that the PDP caused in this country, but you're welcoming them with wide arms.
Nobody's forcing them. So if they say, well, we want to come to you.
You're not afraid that what happened to PDP will eventually happen to you?
Well, I hope not, but here's the thing. They are not being coerced. But here's the thing. This is an Asiwaju that was in opposition for, I think, 16 years. I was in opposition all my years in parliament. So if they don't want to stay in opposition, you should ask them why. If people like Asiwaju did not give opposition a voice, where will we all be? Well,
they said the president is nursing a one-party state ambition.
I doubt it. That's not him. Why would they are coming. They're the ones that say, they are the ones that can stay in opposition. So you should ask them why. You can't blame APC for that, and you can't blame the president for that. Or maybe they're saying the president, the kind of leader that they've always wanted. They see in the president a very bold and courageous leader. They see in the president something they didn't see in their party or wherever it was they were before. So maybe you should ask them. It's not APC you should ask. If somebody comes and says, oh, Abike, I want to, join you, you should ask you why, what are you looking for? Not us.
Interesting.
Again, I'm stressing the point. This is a man who held opposition for well over 16 years. And remained in opposition until he won the presidency.
Well, some say maybe the governors are seeing federal allocation like they've never seen in many years.
Well, you have to ask them.
And it's about time to support who's giving them the money. But let's talk about you. You were at the House of Reps, right?
Yeah.
And then
3 terms.
3 terms. And then your term at NIDCOM has now been renewed, I think in 2023.
So 2 more years?
2 more years.
Yeah. So 2 years. Yeah, 2 more years, like the 4 years of this administration.
That 2 years expires when?
May
2027. Are you going to be running again?
No, you can't run.
No, not for NIDCOM, apparently. I'm talking about politics. Are you going to wear your political tool again?
Know.
You don't know yet?
I don't know. You don't know what life has in store for you.
You're not planning it?
Well, it's not something... Look, this job is very demanding. If you saw me today looking so tired, I've been on my feet since when, it's very demanding. So you can't be doing 2 things at the same time. My policy succeed on what you're doing at this point in time. Let your success,
So your strategy for the next level is succeed at NIDCOM so that you can run for Senate or governor.
So I can run for the Femi's position. Who knows? Maybe I can be on that seat.
You've been here before.
No, but
I'm sure you've seen all of that.
Yeah, but I miss it.
Oh, really?
I miss it. So you guys are doing great.
So you're probably going to return as an anchor?
I don't know. But I can do anything. I can do anything.
Abike Dabiri-Erewa, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Nifemi.
On the program. All right, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll turn our attention to the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. There are a lot of conversation as regards what are governors doing with the increased federal allocation, especially now that subsidy has been removed, and Nigerians really need to feel the impact of all of that, especially in their pockets. I have joining me from Abuja, a federal commissioner of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, also standing by State Director General of the NSIB, as we turn our attention to what that agency is doing as regards accidents in Nigeria. Stay with us, everyone. Don't go away.